Alright guys, so you need to go to My Google Classroom for whatever class you are in. This is 6th grade, but you need to be in your Google Classroom, and then you're going to choose the very first graphic design project assignment. It should be the top assignment in the feed. It says Graphic Design Project 1, design your own ... When you click it, you'll see the instructions, and the very first thing I want you to do, up there where you see that red box, you're going to have buttons that say Your Work, Add or Create. Please click Add or Create and select Drawings. Once you select Drawings, it'll spin for a few seconds, and then a new tab will open up in your web browser. Hopefully you're using Google Chrome, and you will have started your first drawing. Please make sure you start your drawing this way because it automatically titles your drawing and assigns it to the correct assignment. You can open a drawing from Google Drive, but the correct way to do it is the way that I just showed you. So now what you're looking at is the screen for Google Drawing, and I want you to first notice the checkerboard area. The checkerboard area is your canvas. Say canvas. That's the checkerboard area. And then click Apply to save your setting. You'll notice that the canvas size changes to a square. It is 10 by 10 inches, and you're done with the page setup portion. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to practice some keyboard shortcuts. So with your left hand, I want you to press and hold down the Control and Alt key, and with your right hand, finding the button that has a plus on it, it's in the upper right corner of your keyboard next to the delete key. Go ahead, holding down Control and Alt, press that plus button a few times and see if you can notice what it does to your screen. You will notice that this zooms in on your canvas. Now if you hold down Control and Alt, keep on holding down Control and Alt and then press the minus key, which is the key just left to the key with the plus, you will notice that it zooms out. So take a moment just to practice those keyboard shortcuts, zooming out and zooming in. Control Alt plus is zoom in, Control Alt minus is zoom out. Alright, and now what we're going to do is we're going to draw our first shape. So we're going to go up to the Shapes button. We're going to hover over the top selection, which is Shapes. And then we're going to choose the very first shape that's there, which is the rectangle. So go over, hover over Shapes to the rectangle, and then click it, and then your mouse will turn into a crosshair, and that means you're ready to draw. And all you got to do to draw is just click and drag. So Shapes, hover over Shapes, select Rectangle, and then your mouse will turn into a crosshair, and you can click and drag to draw. So now you're going to have a rectangle. By default, it will be a light blue. You will notice that there is a blue box around it with little tiny squares at the corners and sides. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go up to the bucket, the fill bucket, or fill color button. It looks like a bucket. We're going to change the color. You can pick any color you want. I just picked this orange color. So that is the fill color button, and that is how you change the color of any shape. But you must have the shape selected. So if I want to change the color of this rectangle, I have to have that little blue box around it with the little squares at the corners and sides. So that is the fill color button. It looks like a bucket with a drop coming out. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to change the border color of a shape. Every shape has a border color. In order to change the border color shape, you need to go up by the fill color bucket, and click the little pencil. It says border color, and then again you can choose any color you want. You may not notice a big change at first by changing the border color, because by default the border is very thin, but if you go right up next to the pencil, there's another button there called the border weight button, and if you click that, it's 3 little dashes, a thick dash, a middle dash, and a skinny dash. You can change the weight of the border to a much thicker style. If you go all the way up to 24px, you'll make a really thick border. You need to also make sure that your shape is selected. You'll notice that when I click off my shape just a second ago, that the toolbar, a lot of the tools completely disappeared. So when you're working on a shape, you need to make sure it stays selected in order to have all of your tools available. Here's the border weight button. We go down, click one of those big sizes, and now we have a thick border. Alright, so now that we know how to change the shapes, the color and border of a shape, what we're going to do is we're going to make this shape transparent. So if you go back up to border color, select transparent, and you'll notice your border disappears. And then I want you to do the same thing for the fill color. Go up to the fill color button, and when the little menu pops up, select transparent there, and now we have a invisible shape that we can use. And we're going to use this invisible shape to cover our canvas, because emojis don't have a background shape at all. They're just the figure or the face or whatever they are. Well, by default, Google Drawing will download with a white background unless we make a transparent shape. So once you change the border color and the interior color, the fill color of the shape, then you need to grab these little squares and stretch your box so that it fits exactly over the canvas. Remember, the canvas is the checkerboard area. So that's what I'm doing right here, and you can see when you drag the corners that little lines pop up letting you know that you're lined up with the canvas exactly right. When you see that, you can let go of your mouse button and your edge of your drawing is lined up. So now I have my transparent background. I'm going to go back up to shapes, and I'm going to hover over shapes, and then I'm going to choose the circle. Now when you hover over the circle, it's going to say oval, but you can make a circle with it. So select that shape and then click and drag to draw a circle. Here I go. I'm going to click, it says oval, but you can make a circle. Click it. Now I have crosshairs, so I can click and drag, and what we want to do is we want to make this circle have a transparent border, and then you can make the fill color anything you want, but we also want to drag this circle so that the edges of the circle are touching the sides of the square. That will make the circle the same size as the square. So now what I want to show you is a magic trick. You see I'm zooming in and zooming out. I'm not resizing the shape. I'm zooming in and I'm zooming out. Here's how you're going to do that. With your left hand, press and hold down the Control and Alt key on your keyboard. They're at the bottom right corner of the keyboard. With your right hand, you're going to go up and press the plus button. It's right next to the delete key, and that will help you to zoom in, and then the minus key will help you to zoom out. Practice that a couple times. Alright, now it's time to go to Google Images and get our source image. So I'm just going to go to Google. I open a new tab in my browser. In the search box, I'm going to type in the emoji that I want. You need to make sure that you pick an emoji. Start with a round one. You can do a second one that's more difficult later, but since we're working with the circle and the square, pick a round one. I just typed in the LOL emoji. Once you get your search results, you want to pick one that you like. Make sure that it's school appropriate. And then once you pick one, what you're going to do is you're going to put your cursor over it, click it, and in the little preview box to the right, you will right click the image, and when you right click the image, a box pops up that gives you a whole bunch of options. You're going to select copy image. Once you copy the image, you're going to go back to your drawing tab. So go back to your drawing tab, and then you can either right click and press paste, or you can hold down Control and press V, and that is the keyboard shortcut for paste. There are also keyboard shortcuts for delete. If you make a mistake, you can select the mistake, press Control X, and then if you need to undo something, maybe you made a mistake and you just want to undo it, it's Control Z. But here I go, I'm copying this image, and now I'm going to go back to my drawing here, And there it is. And I'm going to right click, paste. You could also do Control V. And then I'll have my source image there available for me to trace on top of. Paste. After I paste it, what I need to do is I need to move the picture off of my circle to the side. I'm about to do that right here. And you can use those lines to make sure that it's lined up. And then I want to click and drag this shape so that it is the same size as my canvas. So see, I'm lining it up with my canvas there. It's now the same size, and that means that whatever I trace with the Polyline tool, which is what's coming next, will be the same size as the image, so that when I move it over, it will be the same size as well. Alright guys, good work on this video. The next video is going to show you how to trace shapes with the Polyline tool. Very important next video. Alright, bye!